Hello, this is a video about creating a programmatic UITableView instance. So from Xcode, I can create a new project. Go make it an iOS app, Programmatic UITableView. Okay, it needs to be set to Storyboard, even though we won't be using that. UIKit app delegate, that's correct, and the language is Swift. So I'm just going to save it into my documents folder. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is remove the storyboard because we shan't be using it. So we take the storyboard and delete it. So that's just clicking the delete key on the keyboard and I can move it to the trash. Here we've got a reference to the storyboard, so I press delete on the keyboard, it's gone. And there's a third place, it's in the info.plist file. So it's not immediately visible. To open, expand, 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 and the storyboard name is there. I can press delete on the keyboard and it's gone. Now, of course, without the storyboard, it won't know where to load our files. And this bit of code is actually quite long, so I should be able to drag and drop it from my desktop. And it's replacing this function. And this code's basically setting up the window, setting up the view controller, and creating everything. So that should be fine. So what we're going to do is create a view controller that's going to display these people. So rather than you watching me type it out, I just dragged them from my desktop. Oh, and we'll probably need a closing brace there. Okay, so this is still going to be UI view controller, but we're going to have a table view instance, which is going to be UI table view, which is going to be our reference to the table view. I can force unwrap it because I'm going to set this up in my load view function. So first thing that happens is when we enter this view, we are going to set up our table view. And the frame can be 0. The reason for that is we'll pin it because the actual view will be our table view. So then it will set it up with the size of our window. So then the app will move to view did load, and I'm going to create a nice little function called setup table view, just to separate out the code. And during that setup table view, what's going to happen is I'm going to register a cell. So table view register. My cell class is going to be the basic one. For reuse identifier, I'd best set up a reuse identifier. So a reuse identifier will enable Swift to reuse our cells. And it's just a string, which I'm going to call cell. And the table view, I'm going to set up a delegate and a data source, and it's going to be this file. And at the moment, I'm not conforming to that, so I need to do that. I'm going to do that within the extension. It's called view controller, view delegate, and the UI table view data source. And it's going to need enough information to be able to display our content. So we're going to have to say the number of rows, and that's going to be our people. So people contains our data, the amount of rows is the count, and where there's one line, we don't need to put a return function because Swift infers it. Cell for row at, so this is where we're going to tell it what data we're going to use. And of course, it's our cell reuse identifier. So what Swift does is it either reuses a cell or creates a new one as we scroll down the list. And our data is people, and we want the correct person for that row. Now, if we fail to dequeue a cell, something's gone horrifically wrong. So in that case, I'm going to set up a fatal error. Whoops. And hopefully running this project, we're going to see a table with those number of names in. And that looks just about right.